The Eastern Diamondback Rattlesnake, Crotalus adamanteus, is one of the most iconic species found in the United States, if not the whole world. This is the largest rattlesnake species on Earth. Here's an in-depth look at its characteristics, behavior, habitat, and more. As mentioned, it is the largest rattlesnake species. They can grow to lengths of 6 feet or more, with the largest being 8 feet. The average size is usually around 4 to 5 feet. The Eastern Diamondback has a distinctive pattern, characterized by dark, diamond-shaped markings on its back. These are bordered by lighter, cream-colored scales. The background color is usually light brown or gray. All rattlesnakes are pit vipers, possessing heat-sensing pits between the eyes and nostrils. These are called loreal pits. This incredible organ helps them detect warm-blooded prey. Like other rattlesnakes, the Eastern Diamondback has a rattle at the end of its tail as well. The purpose of the rattle is to warn others of their presence in order to avoid being stepped on, and also as a way to warn off potential predators. The most interesting thing of all is that there is a rattlesnake that lives on an island, the Santa Catalina Island rattlesnake, that no longer has a threat of big animals or predators, meaning there is no longer a need for a rattle. They are now a rattleless rattlesnake. Now they just have a nub as a tail. The rattle is made of keratin, the same structural protein that makes up hair, nails, and many other structures. The rattle itself is hollow and interlocking. Muscles in the rattlesnake's tail vibrate at extremely high speeds, and the loose interconnectedness of the rattle itself causes the segments to strike each other, producing the notorious sound. Rattle growth happens during the shedding of their skin. Each time a rattlesnake sheds, they gain a segment. You may be familiar with a common saying that you can tell the age of a rattlesnake by counting the number of segments on the rattle. This is actually a myth. A snake can shed multiple times per year. In the case of a rattlesnake, each shed they gain a segment. Not only that, but when one has a long rattle, the interconnected segments we talked about means the rattle can break off if it gets stuck as the snake moves through the environment, for example. The Eastern Diamondback is found in the southeastern United States, including states like Florida, Georgia, Alabama. The habitat they prefer are dry, sandy areas such as pine forests, palmetto flatwoods, sandhills, hardwood forests, scrublands, and coastal plains. They are also often found in areas with sparse vegetation and open spaces that allow for easy movement. Eastern Diamondbacks are primarily diurnal, active during the day, although they have been observed active at all times, usually dependent on the weather. They are a terrestrial species, and the most amazing aspect of their behavior, which ties into habitat as well, is that they will frequently use gopher tortoise burrows for shelter. Gopher tortoises are a keystone species, an animal that has a major beneficial impact on the environment. For example, creating a habitat that other animals will use also, such as the Eastern Diamondback rattlesnake in this case. This species primarily feeds on mammals, such as rabbits, squirrels, rats, and mice. Occasionally, they will feed on birds and other animals when given the opportunity. They rely on ambush tactics, waiting motionless for prey to come within striking distance before delivering a venomous bite. The venom of the Eastern Diamondback is highly potent and contains hemotoxins that break down tissue and can cause internal bleeding. The purpose of venom is to capture prey. They will strike, inject venom, and release the prey. Then they will track down the prey once the venom does its job. The reason for the strike and release is to avoid damage from the prey, a scratch or bite, for example. Eastern Diamondbacks have been declining in much of their range. The threats they are facing are to habitat loss, due to urbanization, agriculture, and road construction. And of course, since many people dislike snakes, An encounter with an Eastern Diamondback doesn't usually end well for the snake, unfortunately. Efforts to preserve their habitat and reduce human-wildlife conflict are ongoing. When looking at encounters with people, the Eastern Diamondback will resort to a few scenarios. One would be relying on their camouflage and being still, hoping they haven't been spotted. Another would be fleeing quickly into a hiding spot. Or they may start rattling and backing away slowly, or rattling and standing their ground. Accidents do occur, of course, but the majority of bites are due to people messing with the snake. In the case of a bite, it should be treated as a medical emergency. Antivenom is available, and the chance of survival of any snake bite in the United States is 99%. The Eastern Diamondback, like all snakes as well as every native animal, plays a highly important ecological role. As an apex predator, they play a part in balancing the population of the prey they eat. This has a crucial impact on us as well. The prey items they eat carry diseases that can spread to people. When a snake eats that diseased prey, it eliminates that disease and stops it from spreading to more and more animals. Another aspect is, if these prey species are left unchecked, the impact has effects not only on their populations, but environmental impacts such as overgrazing. Another important role of Eastern Diamondbacks is that they are also prey for other animals, such as birds of prey, hawks and eagles, for example. To summarize, the Eastern Diamondback rattlesnake is not only an iconic animal in general, but also an extremely important one for native environments. Misconceptions surrounding snakes causes them to suffer when one is encountered. The truth is, although potentially dangerous, they, just like all snakes, prefer to avoid human contact. And the best advice is to just leave them be. If one is encountered in your yard, there are plenty of individuals who would be more than willing to come and relocate them elsewhere. This is the largest rattlesnake species on Earth, and should be an honor to have them native to the United States. There's plenty more to learn about the Eastern Diamondback rattlesnake that I did not cover, but I hope you learned something from this video. Click like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.